everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be mass producing some embossing folder and stenciled cards using brand new May 2022 release products from Altenew. Of course, you guys, I could not create just one or two. I had to create a whole rainbow assortment because nothing is better to me than when I have my supplies out and I can go ahead and just knock out a bunch of cards all at once. So I have trimmed down some Fog Simon Says stamp cardstock to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I am taking these amazing new Altenew embossing folders. These are 3D embossing folders, and I'm going to emboss the image in this embossing folder using my Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine. So here you see I'm going to put it in the center and run it through. I actually saved this one for an extra project, so stay tuned for that. I'll probably just share that on Instagram or stories or something. And then I shifted it over completely to the right, which makes the flower kind of more along the left side of the design or of the background. And I liked that one a little better for the cards I'm going to share today. So I wanted to show how you can really move that paper around or cardstock around to make the image right where you want it. Now look at the results that you get. So detailed, so beautiful. And I actually wanted to go ahead and show you. This is the Cherry Plum Blossom 3D embossing folder, how that one looks as well. You might notice that I chose not to use white cardstock today, and we're going to ink and stencil right over the top of Fog cardstock. Fog really does give you amazing results, and I highly recommend it. So here is a little close-up of those vintage lace flowers, and I'm going to take some of my favorite Simon Says stamp Pawsitively saturated inks, the small size blending brushes from Simon Says stamp, and we are going to stencil the designs. The great thing about these Altenew stencils is you can kind of see those curvy lines in between the sections on this stencil, and it is stencil number 1. They are also numbered. It tells you so that you don't accidentally go past that line and start stenciling something where it isn't. So there's actually 3 different sections on stencil number 1. The main portion of the flower, the stems, and then the first layering of the floral designs. It's really self-explanatory. It's super, super easy. I highly recommend grabbing up this coordinating set. Imagine all the cards you can make. You could make a set of thank you cards. You could make wedding cards, anniversary cards, sympathy cards, friendship cards. Any kind of card that you are needing, you can make. There is a hugs sentiment in the stencil set on the 3rd stencil, which you'll see here in a minute. You can use that with or without. I chose to use it. I wanted to show you how you could use it with this design, or you could simply use your own die cut or stamped sentiment strips like I'm using today. The sky is the limit. If you have been here for a while, you know that my favorite thing is when products can lend themselves to many different occasions, because it doesn't limit you to just one certain holiday, one certain season, anything like that. And I can see myself doing these all of the time. Now, if I hadn't switched colors with my stencils, I could have done this even quicker. But you guys know me, I like to show an assortment. I like to do a rainbow. So I went ahead and did all of these in a different color. I do clean my stencils with some warm water, sometimes soap if it's needed. It wasn't FYI for these, but I usually do that after I use them. Well, it wasn't super convenient to wash these off, let them air dry, or wipe them clean or wipe them dry in between each color change. So I actually used a microfiber cloth to clean my stencil. It's not the cleanest it ever was, but that's okay. And when I was completely done, then I washed everything. So just do what works for you. While I was talking, we did Stencil 2. Now we're on Stencil 3. Again, all Simon Says stamp Pawsitively saturated inks. This was Carnation, Rose, and Peony, as well as Fairway and Field. Fairway and Field are going to be the green colors I use throughout. Now I did one card all the way through. It's kind of like when I'm quilting and I do a quilt block for a quilt. I will do one block and then I kind of do mass producing. I always do one to make sure that I kind of have it figured out, especially if I haven't quilted for a while or it's something challenging or something new. And so that's kind of what I did here. I did one card all the way through, and once I figured out that, yes, I like this is what we're going to do, I went ahead and embossed all of my backgrounds, and then I started mass producing with my stencils. I'm going to take the darkest color from each color grouping to stencil hugs. You can see we're stenciling that right over the top of that great detailed background. And there you go. It's beautiful just like this. You wouldn't even have to add anything extra to it if you don't want to. Now I am going to speed up the video. Man, I wish I could really stencil this quick, don't you guys? And we are going to finish stenciling all of these backgrounds. I do want to mention that I started with a much bigger background than what we will actually end up with. So I like to start with a full-size background, which in this case it's an A2 card that is going to be 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. What I ended up with was a background that was 4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to leave us with a nice little white border all the way around. And what I really like about this is I am going to add some sentiment strips. You can see them there on my desk. From Simon Says Stamp. These are the sentiment strips birthdays, and I've already die cut all of them using sentiment labels dies from Simon Says Stamp, and they're white. And I think the little white border all the way around this beautiful decorative background, it frames it up, and it makes it a little bit more elegant in my opinion. So after I have done all my stenciling, I do trim them all down. I wanted you to be aware of that in case you want to do something similar. The color combinations I'm using today, I did a pink, a red, a kind of blush red. That's going to be our blush and pucker inks. Orange, yellow, teal, blue, and purple. This is the purple. The purple is kind of a pinky purple. I think the darkest color, Taffy, definitely has the most purplish hue to it. And so pretty. You will notice that I am doing all the flowers and the greeting first, and then I did all of the stems. And I kind of changed that partway through. I don't even really know why, but it's just kind of however it works. And of course, these are the reds. Sometimes I used 3 ink colors, sometimes 2. If I used all 3, I linked the trio of inks in the supply list below. If I only used 2 colors, I linked the ink pads individually. It was really a personal preference. It was what works best for coverage. Is a light color like Seafoam going to show up very good on the gray? Is a light color like Lemonade going to show up on the gray? So a lot of times that was my determining factor. You can do whatever works best for you. Distress inks, distress oxide inks. There are so many choices when it comes to this, and you can see how easily this stencils. Literally, this was, even though it was a lot of color changes and a lot of wiping your stencil clean in between and all of that, this came together very quickly. It didn't take me long at all to do this set of cards. So here I did decide, let's go ahead and just stencil all of our green so I can put my green ink pads away. I'm trying so hard to keep my office and my studio cleaned up more because sometimes it gets overwhelming messy when I'm in creative mode. And because I do all of my crafting, well, most of my crafting, I guess, in here, card making and quilting mainly. When I leave a huge card mess at the end of the day, it's real hard to want to come in here and work on a quilt block if I have to clean up my mess. So I have been trying to keep it a little cleaner. Not that it gets super bad. I do like to clean up after every project and things like that, but I'm trying not to let things go overnight. That way, if I do want to come in and work on some quilting for an hour or so in the evening, I want to come in here. You guys, I'm sure you can relate. Even sometimes if I leave a mess and I have to come in and make a card the next morning, I do not want to start my day with cleaning up. So I was working on keeping it clean. All right, let's ink up the rest of these beautiful backgrounds. This is going to be Blush and Pucker, which surprisingly, I didn't know if I would like this one, and I think it ended up being one of my favorites. Definitely drop me a comment down below. Let me know which is your favorite color combination. Let me know what your favorite embossing folder from the release is. I have another idea for that other background I shared with you, the cherry one. That's not the name of it, Nichol. It is, yeah, it's Cherry Plum Blossom. I knew it was something, but not just cherry blossom. And I will be sharing that soon, as I mentioned, because it is really fun. But I could get on board with stencils to go with our embossing folders. Couldn't you guys? I mean, look at the results. Absolutely amazing. I love coloring embossed images. I've got several videos like that here on my channel where I've embossed a beautiful detailed background. A lot of embossing folders from both Simon Says Stamp and Altenew. I will link to the Altenew one video at the end of this one today if you want to see that. But this is so much quicker. Oh my goodness. I love, love, love it. Okay, we've got our blue left. So first up we have Surf and Ocean, pardon me. And then we're going to use Cadet, Marine, and Royal for the blue. And I don't know what it is, you guys, but I love blue flowers. You don't really see a ton of them out there, but it doesn't have to be, you know, accurate, I guess, to Mother Nature. Do whatever your heart desires, because I think these are some of the prettiest ones. I really, really love it. And it doesn't hurt that the Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated inks are absolutely gorgeous. You get fantastic results. I can't say enough great things about them. You guys, if you've already been here, you know I love them. I did end up buying re-inkers for all of mine because I never want them to go like completely dry, or because I use them so much, and that way I can always kind of refresh my ink pads. Ooh, look at that pretty blue. Love, love, love it. And then our hugs. And we are ready to start doing some finishing details. And I noticed I forgot the hugs for the aqua or teal background. All right, next up, I have a plastic box. If you've seen me do this, you already know. I've gone to using these little shallow plastic boxes for my splatter because it washes clean. Obviously, this hasn't been washed. I did wash it after this video, so it's nice and sparkly now, but it comes completely clean, and I love it. I just feel like it works really great. So I splattered it with some leftover white gouache that I had in my box. I just reactivated it with water, added white splatter to all my backgrounds, and now I'm trimming them down to 4 by 5 1/4, as I was talking about a little bit earlier. So I took about 1/4 of an inch off of the right side and off of the top. Just wanted to make sure and avoid the word hugs, and luckily it worked out perfect. And the white splatter adds such an interesting little decorative touch to each of these backgrounds, I think. Just makes it a little less perfect and a little grungy, but not too grungy. I have all my sentiment strips now that I did use the Sentiment Labels dies from Simon Says Stamp to die cut them from the sheet, so no extra stamping even required, making it extra easy. I'm taking some waffle flower foam adhesive, placing it on the back of my sentiment strip, and then we're going to adhere it to our card. Now, when I'm applying sentiment strips, I love using the Simon Says Stamp T-Square ruler. It is a nice heavyweight little ruler, and it works perfect for aligning strips, sentiment strips, all kinds of things. I love it. I had a T-Square ruler. I still have another T-Square ruler, but this one, the small size, is perfect for us card makers. It's nice and sturdy, and it is one of my most often used tools now, I would say, and you're going to see me use it to adhere all of the sentiment strips for my card, or cards, pardon me. I did pick different sentiment strips for these cards. So while they did end up all being birthday cards, they're all a little different. There's a belated birthday, you know, then there's lots of different versions of happy birthday with love. I mixed it up a little bit. I think the hugs works with a lot of different greetings. Ooh, that yellow, isn't that pretty? Just so happy and springy. Altenew does good flowers. Can we all agree on that? I'm sure we all can. They just have amazing, amazing floral products. Here's that beautiful blush and pucker. I'm just gonna piece together some foam adhesive. You might notice I'm trimmed down the strips, but I save all those little bits and pieces. I don't like to let any of my foam adhesive go to waste, pardon me, and I am using the Spellbinders Tool-in-One to peel off the backing. These waffle flower foam adhesive strips are super, super sticky, but they also stay put. So if you're making shakers, I highly recommend them. But I use them all the time for sentiment strips. I just recommend using a tool-in-one or something sharp, maybe the tip of your scissors, to peel off the backing, because sometimes it can be frustrating to get that off, but a sharp tool makes it a snap. Next, I picked Pretty Pink Posh Pearl Gems to add to each one of my cards. I did use 8 different colors for the 8 different cards today. We're doing about 5 pearls per background. I'm using my favorite Simon Says Stamp triangle trays to kind of dump the gemstones out into, pick the ones I want, put them in place with an embellishment wand, and then you can funnel them back into the containers. These containers, I get questions about these all the time. I've had them for a long, long time. They are from Amazon, and they are fantastic. Elizabeth Craft, I believe, is what they are, the trays. So let me know if you need me to provide a link or anything for those, but they are really great. It's how I keep all my small embellishments. It just keeps it really organized and really streamlined, which is something I'm a big fan of. I just reorganized all these a couple weeks ago or so, and with kind of added in all of my new Pretty Pink Posh pearls, because I have been on a big pearl kick lately. I don't know about you guys, but I love them, and Pretty Pink Posh has brought out some gorgeous ones. Oh, these orange ones, you guys, I do really love the orange as well. And purple didn't really look good, so I did pick the pink blush pearls for this final card. Once I have all my pearls, you guys probably already guessed it, we're gonna have to add a heart somewhere. I really went back and forth about what kind of heart I wanted to add. I thought maybe a little white heart. I didn't like how the white looked with the white sentiment strip. I thought about maybe clear. I didn't end up doing clear. And my go-to when I want to add a heart, but I don't really know the color, and this happens a lot with a floral card, are the Trinity Stamps Hint of Mint. And they are clear or frosted, and they are a hint of mint. You can see them there in the tray. I just put one up above my sentiment strip on each card. It's almost like a little clear heart. It's super, super subtle. It's not like, you know, in your face. The focus still is on the beautiful florals and the greeting or the sentiment, but I like that little addition to each card. So I added a little heart to each one. And sometimes I fought with it with my embellishment wand. I adhered each card to a white top fold card base. You can stamp a sentiment inside. I will be stamping sentiments inside before I mail these out, probably to my Patreon members. And that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today for these embossed and stenciled cards featuring brand new products from the May 2022 release from Altenew. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link in the description below. We would love to have you there. The next top tier Patreon Live is scheduled for May 31st, 2022. So if you would like to take part in that, you can always join before then. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.